I tell people if you know what you're passionate about, start with that. And some advice I got from my older brother, he's like, if you're doing it for the money, you're going to be burnt out. But if you're doing it because you actually enjoy what you're doing it, then you're going to thrive and you're no longer going to be in that survival mode. And I actually fell into oil and gas. I started when I was in high school via a co op. And then from there, I just started to build up my career, but I always had that kind of Les Brown mentality. I wanted to be hungry because I started over not just once but twice in my career when it came to oil and gas. My first job was an imaging clerk. All I did was scan papers all day long. It was so boring. There was even a day where I fell asleep at my desk, and I remember my boss like tapping me on my shoulder, waking me up. I felt so embarrassed and I was actually kind of mortified. And then from there, I was like, man, I got to do something else. So then I quickly started to network within the company and figure out what other departments were doing and where can I learn. And that is how I quickly started to build my career. So I went to project management. Then from project management, I did HSC, which is health, safety, and environmental. And then that led me to having my first manager role whenever my old supervisor left to go to a Fortune 500 company. It was just the both of us that built the entire safety program from the ground up for this small mom and pop company. So they gave me the position as an interim HSC manager. And then once I got up there, it was like hitting that glass ceiling. You're capped out with your salary, and there's really nowhere else to go. So that's what led me to switching gears to go to a Fortune 500 company. And when I was applying, I had three job offers, and the one that I ended up choosing was the lowest paying position. But the reason why I took it was because that company had longevity and I would be branded by association because just having it on my resume, everyone knows that company. They're like, "Ooh, I want to work there" or whatnot. So I had to humble myself and I started over again with my career as an administrative assistant. Then I went on to be a raw material coordinator for a commodity, which is polypropylene, so a form of plastic. So I was in charge of ordering all the raw materials that went into making polypropylene. Then after that role, I really wanted to do something else because I had just got engaged during that time to my husband now, and we've been married since 2018, but dated 3 years prior to getting married. And then I was like, I cannot keep doing this long commute and etc. Because it was pretty much like my husband planned our entire wedding, except my hair and makeup and dress, because I never could make it to the vendors because I was commuting like 2 hours one way to work and maybe 2 hours coming back home. So the company created a brand new role, and that's where I switched gears into trade regulations and compliance coordination for another commodity such as polyethylene, which is a form of plastics.